Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reading The Princess and the Pea by last time's story. We had read The Clumsy Prince, so we are going to be continuing that book. Let's get started.
The Princess and the Pea. Once upon a time there was a prince who wanted to marry a princess, but he didn't want just any old princess. He wanted a real one.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Not one of the local princesses would do. What's the matter with them? Patrick cried his father, the king. I'm running out of princesses to show you. Are they all too old?
Are they too old?
Too tall? Too hairy?
I can't be sure they are real, sighed Prince Patrick. I'll have to find one for myself. You must do whatever you want, darling, said the queen, who spoiled him rotten. Nothing but the best for my Princey Vincy.
The next day, when Prince Patrick set out to travel the world in search of a real princess, I think my arm is stuck. He took with him to travel
12 suitcases,
10 pairs of shoes, and a spare crown for his cousin Fred.
Goodbye, my love, cried the queen, wiping away a tear with her silk handkerchief. Don't forget to wrap up warm and brush your teeth.
They hadn't gone far when they heard a loud sneeze from under the seat.
Who's there?
Who's there? Shouted the prince. A small figure creeped out. Aren't you the palace maid? Said Prince Patrick.
Peg nodded. Well, what are you doing here? The prince asked. I want to see the world, said Peg. I have been at the palace all my life, ever since I was left on the doorstep as a baby. She blushed. And cook's furious because I burned the pudding, she added.
Well, you can't come with us, said Fred. This is a boys only adventure. You'll get scared and want to go home.
We are not turning back now, said Prince Patrick. She will have to join us. Peg grinned at Fred. Okay, Prince Patrick went on. First stop the wicked witch's hut. You're joking, cried Fred in alarm. Prince Patrick shook his head. The witch will know how to find a real princess. She is my best hope.
Now, Peg said, Prince Patrick, this could be dangerous. You stay in the coach, Fred, and I will meet the witch.
The prince knocked 3 times on the witch door. There was no answer. Look like no one is in. We will have to go, said Fred, who was already backing away.
She must be in, said the prince, and he bent down to peer through the keyhole. A large green eye was staring at him. Prince Patrick jumped back and landed bottom first in a patch of mud.
A short, plump woman opened the door, chuckling to herself. Did I scare you? I was just checking who you were. You can't be too careful these days. Fred was amazed. Are you the witch? He asked. You are not scary at all. The witch looked rather upset. I try my best, she sighed. I grew 3 new warts last week. Warts means
What
those
mean?
big kind of pimples. Okay?
Oh, how do they grow them?
That's on the skin.
Come inside, she added. I'm just cooking some tasty soup for lunch.
We are not hungry, said Prince Patrick quickly. I have come to ask you for help. I want to know how to find a real princess.
Real princess, a very rare, said the witch.
And it's hard to spot a fake one. But there is a test you can do. A real princess must have what it must have?
Boiled brains,
Boiled brains
rotten beans,
and
cat spit.
what? Cried the prince. Oh, sorry, that's a recipe for soup. That's it. So now, for the real princess test, there are the 3 things what the real princess must possess. Sabi, what are those 3 things? Politeness,
Politeness to one and all. 2. Kindness to rich and poor. Very sensitive skin.
Don't you think that these 2 points are really very important, that one should be very
and
polite?
also there are 3 points, not just 2. Kindness, honest, and polite.
Kindness, politeness, and third one is sensitive skin. So that's okay. But these 2 are very important, politeness and kindness, right? So in case if a princess has these 3 qualities, then only it would be considered as a real princess. Sensitive skin? Prince Patrick asked, looking confused. A real princess, explained the witch, has such tender skin that she could feel a pea under 20 mattresses. Thank you, said the prince. You have been very helpful. He turned to the door. Oh, do stay for lunch, pleaded the witch. My soup is almost ready, and bring in that poor girl from outside. Would you like to have that soup?
No!
No, really, thanks. They were stuck in the witch hut until the cauldron was empty. I feel sick, groaned Peg on the way back to the coach. Well, you shouldn't have had 3 balls then, said Fred. I was being polite. I didn't want to hurt the witch's feeling. That was very kind of you, Peg, said Prince Patrick, smiling at her. So that means Peg, who was following them, she was very kind enough as she could not say no to the witch. Where are we going now? Asked Fred. Now I have the witch test. I can finally find a real princess, said the prince. We are off to meet Princess Prunella. Check the map, Fred.
Princess Prunella was very excited to see the prince. You must come and stay at my castle, in my castle, she cried. She raced over the bridge, dragging Prince Patrick with her.
Hurry, hurry, she called to her servants. I want you to prepare the best bed chambers for the prince and Fred.
Excuse me, said Peg, struggling with all the luggage. Where am I going to sleep? Who
Maids
are you?
belong in the attic, replied the princess haughtily. There might be a few mice there, but I'm sure you will cope. Peg went to her room. It was cold and damp. She could hear mice scuttling about, squeaking. Meanwhile, Fred and the prince were in the grand dining room with Princess Prunella. Savi, do you think that Princess Prunella is the right princess?
No, because she's not kind.
Yeah, you are being very kind, said Prince Patrick. But what about Peg? Is she eating in the kitchen? The princess looked shocked. Your beastly little maid? You can't expect me to bother with her. She can eat the pig's slops if she is hungry. I am afraid we must leave, said Prince Patrick. You are not a real princess after all. Was this a good habit?
No.
Oh yes, I am, said Princess Prunella. Oh no, you are not, shouted Fred. You have failed the first real princess test. Real princes are polite to everyone, explained Prince Patrick, and you have just been rude to Peg. I won't give up, said Prince Patrick. There must be a real princess somewhere. According to this map, there is a Princess Pavlova next door. Let's try her, Fred suggested.
Princess Pavlova greeted them all very politely. What a pleasure.
To have you here, she said, welcome to my castle. So let's see now what Pavlova does. She's passed the politeness test, though, thought the prince. Now what's the next one? Fred, he cried, I have a plan. I'm going to dress up as a beggar and see if Princess Pavlova is kind to me. Try out our disguise on Peg first, said Fred. To make sure it works, Princess Patrick found Peg sitting on a tree stump, about to eat an apple. I am a hungry beggar, he said. Have you any food for me? Oh, you poor thing, Peg cried when she saw him. Here, have my apple. So what Peg did? Peg just offered the apple what she was eating to the beggar. Prince Patrick was very pleased with himself. Excellent, it worked, he shouted, throwing off his disguise. And Peg shouted, Ah, it's you. What are you doing? Asked Peg. But the prince was already knocking on the castle door to try the test on Princess Pavlova. A servant answered. Is someone there? Called Princess Pavlova. It's a beggar, your highness. We have got nothing for him, snapped the princess. Tell him to go away. Is this the right behavior?
No.
So was she kind enough?
No.
No. So did she fail the test?
Yes.
Yes. Prince Patrick turned away. She is not a real princess, he thought. A real princess is both polite and kind, even to
Beggars.
I give up, said the prince with a sigh. I'll never be married. I don't think there is a real princess anywhere. We may as well go home. Is Prince tired now, Savi?
Yes.
Yes, because he is not able to find real princess. They got ready for the long journey back to the palace. Everyone was glum, even the horses. I bet Cook has not forgotten about the pudding I burned, thought Peg. The coach arrived at the palace just in time. A huge storm was brewing. Peg was sent straight to the kitchen in disgrace. You have got hundreds of dishes to wash, scolded the cook. They have been piling up since you left. Prince Patrick and Fred went to find the king and queen. Outside, rain began beating against the windows. Streaks of lightning lit up the sky.
Just then there was a knock on the door. There is a princess. Promise to see you.
Primrose.
Primrose to see you, your highness, said the footman.
A beautiful princess stepped into the room. She was wet from the rain and shaking with cold. I am so sorry to trouble you, she said politely, but my coach has broken down.
No trouble at all, said Prince Patrick quickly. Why don't you stay the night at our castle? We'll fix your coach in the morning.
I must give you something in return.
She acts like a real princess, thought the prince. But I must be sure.
So, Savi, this princess, is she kind?
Yes.
Is she polite?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what is the third test. What is the third test?
Third test is very sensitive skin.
Very sensitive skin. And a princess should feel even a pea below the 20 mattresses. So let's check whether she is able to do that or not. He asked the servants to prepare Princess Primrose's bedroom. I want 20 mattresses on the bed, ordered Prince Patrick, and a pea at the very bottom. Peg didn't get to bed that night. She had to finish washing the dishes. The next morning, Princess Primrose came down for breakfast looking refreshed. How did you sleep? Asked Prince Patrick. I loved all those mattresses, the princess said. It was the most comfortable bed. So does she have the sensitive skin?
No.
Prince Patrick sighed. A real princess would have felt that pea, he thought. He waved goodbye to Princess Primrose. As soon as breakfast was over, another fake one, he said sadly. It was Peg's job to clean the princess' bedroom. Slowly she climbed up the ladder, yawning with each step. I'll just lie down for a moment, Peg thought, before I start cleaning up.
In no time at all, she was fast asleep.
An hour later, Peg woke with a start. "Ow," she said. "There's something really lumpy in this bed. I am getting down." But as she leaned over, she knocked the ladder. It clattered to the ground. "Drat!" Peg cried. "I am stuck." "Help!" she shouted as loudly as she could. "I am stuck. Please help!" Everyone rushed into the bedroom. "What are you doing up there?" Prince Patrick called. "I was supposed to be cleaning," said Peg, "but I was so tired I fell asleep. And there is something horribly hard in this bed," she added. "I am covered in bruises." Prince Patrick knew this could only mean one thing. What was that?
Sensitive skin.
Because Peg could feel that. What it could feel?
The pea.
The pea. Yay. So did Prince found the real princess?
Yeah.
Yes. He raced up the ladder. "Peg, will you marry me?" Peg gasped. "You want to marry me? A palace maid?" "Yes, please." And then the king shouted. "What?
A maid?
A maid? But a princess at heart, my dear." So Prince Patrick finally married his real princess. He put the pea in a glass case in the palace museum for everyone to see. It may still be there today. And here you look. Well, Savi, so can you tell me just the two real check of the real princess?
Kindness.
Kindness
And sharing.
politeness?
Yes.
Yes. So everyone can be a real princess if everyone has these two awesome qualities. One is of kindness, second one is of politeness. Okay.
Meet you next time. I hope you enjoyed the story.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.